to go over my Fragments application. First, we're going to go and do a server health check to see if our our AWS server is working. It's coming back with the status okay, author, GitHub, version, and then the host name. Now we're going to go into the Fragments front end. We're going to log out, log back in using Cognito. We're going to add a fragment JSON. And then we're going to add a text. We're going to add markdown. Okay, we're going to also add an image. Okay. And then now we're going to look at the request response network just to see that everything was successful. So here's the URL with the request method and the response of 201. Here is the response header, including the response. There's also the response. This is the response header. This is the request header with the authorization token, the content type, the host, the origin. Here is the payload. And then this is the response with the fragment metadata object as well as the status OK. So they were all successful. And then I would call the get to get all the fragments once they've been added. And then this is the payload for the raw data, for the image because it's raw data. Now, so now I'm going to convert a markdown into an HTML. Convert. Okay. I'm going to convert an image, a PNG, to a JPEG and download it. Here's the JPG ending. And there is a bug which I have written up when it comes to my update. Update works fine for a text fragment, but doesn't work for an image. It's breaking here, but it doesn't break. See, it doesn't break here. But this has been documented and it's only for images and JSON. Now let's look at the payload. So this is so this is the update request for the text. Comes back successful. Payload response. The updated time is different from the created. Even the ones with the image come back successful, but it's not showing up in the front end. So I'm not sure where it's breaking. I will be looking into this later. And then and this is the delete request with the delete method, the status code, and the response and the request header. Preview is just the response saying it's deleted, and that is it. So I've created a new fragment to test the CloudWatch. So I already have it open. It's logging all the events for the last minute. So these are all the log messages. Let me start from the post. Okay, so this is the post with the authorization token and all the information here. Now, this I don't So now I'm noticing that I haven't actually logged a lot of the post messages because it just jumps into the GET request. So I will be adding more log messages. Also, with my log messages in the future, I want to update the way it's being written because it's really hard to find anything right now. I have to go through every single message to see, so I want it to be easily searchable. That is something I have written up in my response, in my write-up. So the final thing is just to go through all the AWS services that we use, starting with Cognito. Here is the user pool. This is I have two users. One is unconfirmed. The variables that I'm only saving are email name and preferred username. Um, Now let's go into the S3. Okay, I'm going to go over the CI/CD pipeline. Anytime code gets pushed to the main branch, our CI pipeline gets run, and it runs all these tests, and it makes sure our unit tests pass and our integration tests pass. And once all of this is good, it will then build and push the image to Docker Hub. Our CD pipeline is responsible for deploying our image to ECS. The way it does that is every time we create a new version tag, this will get triggered. It checks out the code, it builds, it configures the AW credentials, it logs into our ECR, it builds the image and pushes it to our ECR, which is right here. This is our latest V30 image, and this is the tag, the latest, and then the version tag, and this is the size. Once it gets built, and it will create a new ID in the task definition. Ask container service. So any time any changes get made, it creates a new task definition. Right here in tasks. So these are all the revisions to the task. To the fragments JSON, fragments definition JSON file. So anytime this changes, a new task gets created. Once the task gets created, it deploys the ECS service. And let me show you. This is the cluster with our fragment services, and then our load balancer, which will point to our EC2 instance. So this is the load balancer is the URL that will redirect traffic to the container. And that is our continuous integration and deployment. The ECS is, so we have the ECR, which saves the images, ECS, which pulls the images and then runs the containers and updates everything. And we have the EC2, which is our server, which is our instance that our app is running on. And we have, that is the whole thing.